maybe we start at the game that you were just last at.
Okay.
South Carolina, Texas.
Let's do it.
How about we do that? Because that was circled on my calendar. I know it was a little bit of a payback or a rematch already between the Longhorns and the Gamecocks. What was the vibe like in there? Because I know it was crazy.
Oh, man. Every single time you have South Carolina, Texas face off, it always delivered. That arena was packed. It was loud. It was insane. Top 4 matchup. I mean, like you mentioned, we got like a little mini March in November between these two, and then they run it back. Just, in my opinion, a total get back game for South Carolina. And these are two teams, even Texas, completely different from what we're seeing now. From November to now January, the chemistry that South Carolina has been able to attain after dealing with injuries, a new team overall, they put it together in this game. And I love what my colleague always says, Shimmy, she always says, win gritty and not pretty. That's exactly what it was, because
I like that.
I'm going to start coining that. Shout out to Shimmy. But a combined 45 turnovers between the two teams. And I just chalk that up to both of these teams knowing each other so well. The battle of the defenses, it was high level on both ends, but classic South Carolina balance. Like, everyone had their moment in the game. Taniyah Latson showed up and showed out in the first half. I loved her energy on both ends. She got downhill. She got to the line. She played both sides of the ball and just set the tone early, in my opinion. Joyce Edwards came alive in the second half. Medina Okote, she had a phenomenal 3 that I couldn't even hear myself at all when she hit it.
That was when a post player hits a 3, you just the crowd goes wild.
It was insane. And that was her 3rd career 3. So it was a moment. Yeah, it was the total momentum shifter. But Raven Johnson, 4th quarter takeover, truly that girl, complete takeover. She controls the pace, had that steady hand for South Carolina. She got to her midi spots. She set up her teammates. She guards the toughest matchup every single night, chasing around Rory Harmon. I don't think she gets enough credit. We saw the new top 25 college basketball players come out, and Raven wasn't on that list. And you can't talk about South Carolina's success without Raven Johnson. Raven Johnson and winning is synonymous together. It goes hand in hand. So I would love that she had that I'm not even going to call it a breakout moment. She's been doing this. There were WNBA execs at that game, and everyone was tuned into that game. It's her final year. That was a great showing for Raven to show I'm here and I'm ready to impact the next level, because this is what I do. I win. I've won at the high school level 3 state championships, or I think 4 actually, 4 state championships, coming over to South Carolina. She has multiple rings to her name. It was great to see that overall. But Texas, they started strong, just couldn't close out versus South Carolina.
Yeah, let's talk about Texas for a second too, because that was a tough week for Texas. You had to play LSU at LSU, and then you had to play South Carolina at South Carolina.
Brutal.
That is the SEC. That is just exactly how this conference is going. But this idea that you wanted to have a bounce back game because you got your first loss to LSU, and then South Carolina with the home crowd, with it being a rematch, it was just too much to overcome. That's what it seemed like to me. It was just they could not finish the deal. But I'm not counting Texas out. They're not. Yeah, they're still a good team.
Absolutely. That's why you didn't see them drop from the 4 spot. Because who's challenging them after that? They still have a great amount of quad 1 wins. Their resume is beefed up, stacked up, still a win over South Carolina, UCLA. They had that great stretch, and they'll still have time again to show what they can do in the SEC and the SEC tournament. But you talk about that LSU game, a Rory Harmon, she didn't play that entire 4th quarter.
What and
she was off efficiently offensively the entire game. But then she comes in and turns things around versus South Carolina. I thought she had very timely moments. She had to chase around Raven Johnson all night. That was just
not easy
matchup to watch. But Madison Booker as well, like, she would not be denied at all getting to her spots, getting downhill, that mismatch that she even has as a guard. She's long. I mean, that midi game is beautiful. I think the difference maker is what it was just those two. Like,
Mhm.
you know, Jordan Lee, she is their third shooter. She was in foul trouble.
Yeah.
It was just too much. The biggest issue was just like not enough help outside of the normal duo.
Mhm. Look, we've had Madison Booker on this podcast multiple
Mhm.
times, and we know her hate for South Carolina is real.
I
She
believe
has
it.
not tried to hide it, not one bit. She barely was able to
No.
give Asia Wilson props in a WNBA setting because she went to South
Screaming.
Carolina. So we know that she wants
I
to see
respect
them
it.
again, but also she doesn't want to see them again. Like, I can see if it goes down to them being in the Final Four again, she's like,
I respect
I
it.
can't get away from South Carolina. I know it. I know it.
That's tough.
But
But
it makes for great TV. We love it.
and to be the best, you gotta beat the best, and
Yeah.
both of them are the best right now. I think the fact that both games were decided by one possession, that says a lot, not just
Mhm.
about this conference, but these two teams, how they're separating themselves, and LSU's putting themselves in that mix as well.
Mhm.
I don't know how that SEC tournament is gonna shake out.
Oh my
Couldn't
gosh.
tell you.
It's gonna be wild, wild. There is so many great SEC teams, so many
Mhm.
great Big Ten teams as well. Big 12 is like, hey,
You
we're
name it.
here.
Mhm.
All of these conferences are really, really showing out. But real quick, let's talk about this number one team because we have to talk about the 18-0 UConn
Ooh,
Huskies. They're in the Big East.
goodness.
But they made Notre Dame look like a high school team. Just we're recording this on Tuesday. That just happened yesterday. I was like, "Ooh, yeah, let's see.
Ooh,
Maybe." No, it
no.
was not even. If you had a
Mhm,
glimmer of hope in the first half,
mhm.
then Gino's halftime speech was going to dismantle any of that hope.
Right.
And then UConn came out the second half and was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, we can put up
You're like, "That
about
was cute."
50 points and a half easy."
Mhm.
Um, do you see UConn losing this year?
No.
Me
I
neither.
can't see it. I there in the no. No. You know what? You mentioned the Big East too. There's always that national conversation about UConn being in a weaker conference compared to
Mhm,
some other
mhm.
power leagues. But every single time UConn steps out of the Big East, they're like, I'm right here. They prove the opposite every
Exactly.
single time. They are built for a national title again this year. They've got the depth, they got the discipline, they got the defense, the star power, the whole package for UConn. And to me, I've been able to cover a lot of their games up close and personal as as a sideline reporter for TNT, and I've been able to speak with the team and just see it live. The defense is the separator. It
It
is the it's what's making them so scary right now. Like, we'll get into the offense, but the defense, that full court pressure is relentless. They've got active hands sitting in the gaps. They blow up passing lanes. Everyone's on one string. They
mm,
speed teams up. And when you get past that full court pressure, they're still in it in the half court. They don't let up all 40 minutes. You're uncomfortable. And I was actually impressed of how KK Arnold took on that assignment of trying to shut down Hannah Hidalgo.
mhm,
She is known to go off versus UConn, and she
mhm.
averages 32 points per game versus the Huskies. She
Whoa.
only had 16 points, which was a very hard 16 points that she had to get. I mean,
Mhm, mhm.
UConn's defensive plan versus Hannah was take away Hannah Hidalgo, cut off the head of the snake, and make everyone else beat us. And everyone else outside of Prosper had less than 6 points.
Whoa.
So, I mean, they accomplished everything that they needed to in that game. And that just tells you how suffocating UConn's defense was. And, I don't see any other team touching them this year. That's how
Not with
good they
a
are.
10-foot pole. Like, I think that if we look backwards, that Michigan game was so, so good. And Michigan,
Right.
played them down to the final seconds. And I think
Seconds, literally.
that's probably going to be the closest team. Like,
Mhm.
the discipline can't be talked about enough. And I've recently talked to Azzi Fudd for something special coming out soon, which is going to be so fun. But, you know, she talked about just that UConn standard, like that standard of we have to be a certain way all the time. And there is no room for error and there's no room to step outside of that. Like if you are not in a defensive stance, if your jersey is not tucked in, she talked about that. She's like, yeah, I know the rule changed, but when I see other people with their jerseys out, like it's just sloppy. Like it's like, we don't do that. You know, like that is the standard. And that is what every single player signed up for when they came to play for UConn. You know, like I love that. And it shows on the offensive end, the cuts are crisp, the passes are perfect. And then on the defensive end, guard your person. Do not let them get in behind you, in front of you, bump the cutter, like all of those things. It just like scratches my basketball mind like in the perfect way, because you can just see the perfectionism in Gino Auriemma shine through his players. Yeah. And that's why you are 18-0 and virtually untouchable. Like, yeah, I just don't see it. I don't see anyone beating them. Sarah Strong, are you kidding me? What? You have Sarah Strong on your team. Come on.
They have Sarah Strong and no one else does. It's like, what are you gonna do about that? Man. That duo of Sarah Strong and Azzi Fudd is relentless. And you mentioned Azzi, like she didn't really get it done she didn't do it from beyond the arc. She got inside the lane. She's showing that overall player that she is, that she can get downhill, she can use her body, she can take contact, she can do anything. She also had moments on Hannah Hidalgo where she had to guard her. Like she's WNBA ready. But her as a shooter, although it wasn't as showcased in this game, like it's been quick release, right in the pocket, fluid, just effortless. She's been phenomenal, staying an extra year and just really honing in on her craft. Sarah Strong, best player in the nation.
I mean,
and it's not even close.
They're calling her baby Jokic, Autumn. And Jokic has multiple NBA MVPs. Just want to throw that out there. It's not a bad comparison. No. I want to compare it to, you know, a W player, and it's the Maya Moore-esque. It's the 3-level score. We've talked about it before, but UConn, yeah. You win a national championship, and somehow we're talking about you in a completely different way this year. And we're saying you're better than the year before.
It's crazy.
We're shaking our head. If you're not watching the video, we're just constantly shaking our head because there's
like no words for that. I don't know. I don't have anything for you. And you bring up a great point of the discipline for all 4 quarters. Even if they're blowing teams out, they're still running the same system. They're still in their place. They're still hustling hard. And you got to think like Sarah Strong and Azzi Fudd aren't even playing in a lot of these 4th quarters too. So yeah.
Before we go to break, one team that I was watching the Fox broadcast during yesterday's tournament, and they kind of talked about if there was one team that could potentially go up against UConn and give them a run for their money, was UCLA. And I would love your thoughts on that, because UCLA is sitting right now at number 3. They're 17-1. They have been playing super well through the Big Ten so far and seem like they are going to kind of run away with that. But we know with UCLA this time, we're not worried about it. It's not an issue. It's when we get to the tournament and that Final Four conversation, just because they haven't been there as a program a lot. No. So do you think with this senior heavy, like they are vets on this UCLA squad, and that is showing that they could potentially give UConn a run for their money if it got to that point?
Yeah, this was a matchup that we saw in the Final Four, and I think that showed UConn's been there, UCLA hasn't.
Right.
And when you go to the Final Four, it's a lot. media wise, like
Mhm.
appearance wise. When you come off of the plane, everyone, media, including myself, we're in your face asking you questions. Like, it doesn't stop until you get done, until the buzzers goes off. So I don't think a lot of people see that. We're in the locker room constantly. If it's a lot for me, I know it's a lot for them, running
Mhm.
around, always like talking to them. There's no rest. And then you're practicing. It's a quick turnaround from, your last from the Elite Eight going into the Final Four. Uh Now that UCLA had that experience, I think this is going to be exactly what they needed. Like, that reality check, in a sense, where it's like, okay, we've been here, we know what it takes. Now
Mhm.
let's go out and execute. And they've got the depth, they got the size, they have the chemistry, they got some new pieces. This is a well balanced team. And specifically in the Big Ten, it's UCLA versus the field in the Big Ten.
Yeah, yeah.
It's in that Maryland UCLA game, it showed just that, the way they were able to blow past Maryland. So that game in itself was a statement.
Mhm.
And last year we were talking about Lauren Betts. This year it's the guard play. It's
Mhm.
a Gianna Neekins who can stretch the floor and gives you an entire different dynamic when you talk about spacing. Gabriela Jaquez is having a career year, and it
Yeah.
seems like every single year she's just getting better and better and better. And I want to call her the X factor, but she's just the unsung hero. Like, more people need to be talking about her and the success.
Yeah.
Charlize Ledger Walker, a bucket getter,
Mhm.
healthy, scoring point guard, and brings another facilitator for UCLA. And they've got depth in the front court. Like, we're always talking about Lauren Betts. We know what she does at 6'7", but now to have your sister alongside of you and Angela Dugalich, who can
Mhm.
stretch the floor. This team has balance. And the same thing we're saying about UConn, how they can take off the bench, UCLA can do the same.
Mhm.
UCLA has size, they have the defense, they have the offense. They are checking off as a full package as well. But now they have the experience of the Final Four. They know what
Yeah.
it takes. So I think that could be a difference maker for sure.
Yeah, I love what you said about the Maryland game. I was like, "Ooh, this is gonna be a good one." Number 3 UCLA going up against number 12 Maryland. No, UCLA won 97-67. Like, they weren't even a factor at
Yeah.
all. And this is a top 15 team. So I think that that was a statement game. Looking at
Mhm.
that box score, looking at Jaquez having a game high 22 points,
Mhm.
Charlize having 17, 4 made threes. Like, you're able to see that it's not just Lauren Betts. She had 11 points, 5 rebounds. Like, she
Yeah.
didn't even have that crazy of a game. And
Yeah.
you're still able to blow past a top 15 matchup, which I feel like last year, years prior, Lauren Betts, if you're not having a double double,
Mhm.
I don't know where else the scoring is coming from. I don't know what else anybody else is doing. So I think that should be encouraging if you
Mhm.
are a Bruins fan, and they just got to hold on. I like that they're top 3. I kind of like that they're not number 1. Like, I think that was a lot too,
Mm.
to
Yeah.
hold on that number 1 spot for
True.
so long that they did last year. I'm
Yeah.
top 5. Cool. We're in the
We're
top.
chilling.
We're chilling,
Don't worry
we're
about us.
good. We're good. Don't worry about us. And then we're gonna be there in the Final Four. I think that's a great,
Love it.
great tactic.
No, they want the pressure. They're ready for it. But it's like, okay, focus on UConn for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure. Everybody,
Please.
stop what you're doing. Just focus on UConn.
Because the target's still on their back in the Big Ten for sure, but I think they
Hmm.
got that handled. But nationwide, you could tell like everyone was gunning for UCLA to knock them
Hmm.
off that streak they went on. Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah, and then with USC, the Battle of LA, that they've got less innocence to worry about this year. They
Hmm.
can just focus on themselves and what they're doing every single possession, every single game,
Yeah.
moving forward, just the details. That's
Yeah.
it.